Okay, what's up, YouTube? I want to talk about the whole Steve Urkel stereotype, Carlton Banks stereotype. What really upsets me about this stereotype is that it has no foundation. The second you step onto a college campus, you will clearly see, right, that this is not the case. You know, the funny thing, I would call it a gift and a curse of being a black dude on a college campus is that you're seen as almost a superstar. Simply because you're black, and, you're pretty much a fish out of water for everybody else. You're a walking contradiction. So many people have so many questions because for a lot of people, they have literally never been around educated black people before. I'm not even joking with you. I've had people tell to my face, not even knowing if they're being politically correct or not, but because it was so brand new to them that it was almost like, oh my gosh, it's like seeing Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant in person. And for some time, to be real with you, it was a bit uncomfortable, right? It was just like, damn, is something wrong with me? Am I sticking out? But you have to factor in, people just don't know much about you. Right? So you're almost by default a celebrity. Right? But to your own people, they want to label you as the geek or the nerdy type. Which is very annoying because the majority of black men on college campuses, I would probably say across the globe, don't fall into that category or that stereotype whatsoever. Really, that's not what's going on. The sad thing is, we have, non-black men who don't have a problem, who go to college and their masculinity is increased, right? So their feelings of bravado and their sense of what they can do and what they can accomplish increases because they know they've almost increased their power level, right? It's like they got some power up, and now I'm like, oh, my strength has increased tenfold, or my knowledge has increased tenfold. Just look at me, I just feel like a bigger person because they're not dealing with the whole geek nerd stereotype. But for black people, you get there for black men, that is just placed upon you. I'm not going to say it's for black women because they also get a boost up by going to school. But for black men, how do you get a boost down? And unfortunately, somebody's going to compare you to somebody else in regards to what they're doing and what you're not doing. But we're so quick to talk about, the geeks and the nerds, and it's not even a reality. It's not even truth. That's the thing that gets me. I'm not a fool. I can understand if there was some, validness or, validity to that whole concept or stereotype of black men, in college tending to be more nerds and more geeks, but it's definitely not the case. Especially when you have a large number of student athletes who are black. Go to any college apart from HBCU, and a strong majority of the black people on campus, especially the black men, are student athletes. Right? I have a hard time finding another black male who is just a regular student who isn't a student athlete. So the whole idea of, the black man on a college campus is a geek or nerd, where does that hold up? I don't get it. How do we get that stereotype? Where does it come from? Especially when you still have a significant amount of black men coming from the inner city. Right? I don't understand how we live in such a horrible dynamic where it's either you are a hardcore street guy or a super duper geek, when the vast majority of black men are smack dead in the middle. The overwhelming majority are just in the middle, who are responsible, but still know different things about the culture. That's just how I see it. Right? It's not this polarized type of environment that we want to put it out there to be. So when I see, maybe black men hold on to that or even identify with that, I get upset. You shouldn't, because it belittles you. Don't do that. It truly does belittle you. You need to have a sense of bravado, a sense of, you have some sort of power, something, you can get something accomplished. And that label does nothing to hurt you and pull you back, because it's not being seen as masculine. People talk about the infeminization of black men, and this is part of it. We can talk about Tyler Perry and, dressing in drag and, different, things that are done to black men to make them look soft or even, more feminine. And that is true. But to me, the biggest one is this whole idea that you're a geek or a nerd. That you're not a man. You can't build. Makes no sense, right? That's why I say I feel like this is so made up. Our problem is we're too masculine, right? People say, we're too intimidating, we're too scary. So where the hell does the whole you're a geek or a nerd come from? I don't understand. So yes, no one should hold on to that. If you're a dude who feels like you're smart and you articulate, whether you went to school or not, right, and you know about things outside of Foot Locker and ESPN and BET, don't identify with that shit. It's bullshit. Don't. Like I said before, if anything, the educated black dudes are more like Will Smith than Carlton Banks. If that, maybe put them together and divide them, by two. Throw in Theo Huxtable, throw in Kadeem Hardison, right, and stir them up in a pot, and you'll probably get more so who we are, as opposed to just looking at Steve Urkel or another type of black dude similar to that and saying that, oh, this is who they are. I just don't get it. How the hell in one breath are black men seem to be, we're too cool, we're swagged out, we're too good for this, that, and the third. Then in the next breath, they're geeks and they're nerds. I don't get it. Right? If I'm sounding confusing, it's because I really am confused. I've read articles where they're talking about how black men, we're just the shit once we make it, and we're too cool for this and we're too cool for that, and we're just this super type of dude who's unstoppable. Then I'll read another article talking about how, maybe we should, view black men differently, they're more so geeks, more so nerds. And I've read an article where it's this the writer of the article is a black woman, and she was talking about what we can learn from Michelle Obama. Go for the nerd, go for the geek, and that's what she was comparing Obama to. And I'm like, what? Are you serious? That's what you're gonna say he is? You're gonna belittle him like that? That's how you really feel? Because it really makes no sense to me. Like I said before, people put out that stereotype, but no one can back it up. Give me some evidence. Give me some concrete logic to let me understand why people feel that way and why that stereotype is out there. I can understand why the whole black men are masculine stereotype. I can understand the whole black men are womanizers and black men are materialistic. I can understand that because people can back it up with logic. But I can't even understand this. That's why I'm so adamant for black men not to hold on to that stereotype, not to identify with it, and to shut it down because it's not you. In closing, with my students, they like to know about me and my personal life and some of the things that I've been through. And I like to share stories with them as well, because for a lot of them, white, black, Mexican, Hispanic, it doesn't matter. I am the only younger, productive person of color that they have seen. And I hate to say that, and I don't say that, because it makes me feel good. It sucks. Because, with me, I was around that. I had a boatload of older black men to emulate or to imitate and to follow and to talk to, but these boys don't. And I tell them, I made it to school, right, not because I was a geek or a nerd. Me and my friends were the same, right, in terms of high school. Only thing I did differently was I did my homework, I knew when to shut up, and I knew how to respect my elders, and I did that, and I was able to make it to college. I wasn't the best student. I did my work, like I said before. I wasn't the brightest. I'll admit that. My switch didn't turn on till I damn near graduated from college, to be real with you. And I tell them, like, no. That is not you. Don't let society or whoever, your friends, women, pump that into your head, because that's so not you. And I tell them, you step on a college campus, and some of the coolest people you will see are other minority people. The coolest people. And it's unfortunate that people don't get to see it. And like I said before, I really question that where this whole geek nerd thing came from, because if you step foot on a college campus, you will clearly see that that's not the case at all, whatsoever. And like I said, somebody give me some logic, somebody give me some reasoning to why that stereotype exists, because I don't see it. Therefore, I'm like, no one should identify with it. People should shut it down every second that they get. Every group has nerds. It is what it is. Right? But the vast majority of black men don't fall under that category in terms of the ones who are educated and productive and all that other good stuff. Take it easy. God bless.